Well, hello YouTube, and a warm welcome to the Essentially Crypto channel. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm your host. And today we have got some interesting things, some awesome things in the AMA of Veve yesterday. So we're going to go through some of those things. Obviously, we've got the serial killers coming tomorrow as well, the second batch of those. So if you got in on the first batch, then you'll want to grab the second batch, and then there's another one coming up like later on down the line. So therefore, you'll have all three, and you can make a big diorama and all that kind of thing. But anyway, I digress. Let's move over to the main screen, shall we, so we can see what's going on in the world. Let's today. Have a look at what's coming up on Saturday, which is this. So let me see if I can make him bigger. I'm not sure if I can or not. Not sure on that one. I'll tell you what I'm going to do though. I'm going to take out the sound for sure. This is the let's have a look. The Fruit Loop ones. So we just add the Frankenstein guy, Frankenfat. There he is there. These are really cool though, you got to admit, and you got to remember about these things as well, and this is important to remember. Okay, I'm sure you've watched this video, so I'm going to talk over it, and I'm not going to really pay attention to it at the same time. But what you got to remember is that Ron English is probably going to OpenSea when we go through to, you know, when Immutable comes in and when all that stuff, and we got some more news about that in a second. Anyway, some great news in fact, and you know, Ron English is probably going to be one of those that goes to OpenSea, and I know that most of his collectibles have already started going up in value already. A lot of the ones that are going to OpenSea have already started pumping, you know, so therefore I think this is going to be a good thing to get tomorrow. I'm personally not around, so I'm not going to be taking part in the drop, and I'm also not going to be doing a live tomorrow, so don't expect a live from me tomorrow. I'm actually going to a theme park with my son, so I'm going to be enjoying the day. So rather than trying to, well, I don't know, it depends. If it gets to 5 o'clock and I'm not actually physically on a ride or something, then maybe I'll have a little tap on the buttons and see what I can get. But if not, then, you know, it is what it is. But incidentally, all of the comics have gone up in price as well. All of the floors of the comics, the commons especially, they've all gone massively. Well, I say massively, but like from $6.99 to whatever they are. I think you can't get a comic now as a common for less than £30. So therefore, yeah, or 30 gems. So that's pretty cool as well. That's happening, and Omi is going up as well. We're almost at the 0.5. So no, 0.5. Don't say that. 0.05. That's what I meant to say. So we're almost at half a cent. So that's pretty cool as well. And we haven't even had the full information or the full guarantees of what's coming, because obviously they couldn't do that last night, and Dan said that, you know, it may be coming, maybe not, etc, etc. So, but anyway, let's move on to this next thing. So that's what you're going for tomorrow. So good luck in the drop tomorrow. As I said, if I'm around at that time, then I'll probably be hammering on the buttons to see, but it just also depends, because family time is important as well. So let's move on to this next thing, and that is the AMA Roundup. And that is, let's see if we can bring this up. There we go. I'll keep me small in the bottom so that way you can see. This is the AMA Roundup from the stuff that's happening. Oh, incidentally, one thing I need to say, and this is, I forgot to put this in my little thing, but I asked, I did try and get my question in, but I didn't manage to get the question in. I did ask to be, you know, brought up on the stage, but I guess they didn't see me, and it got a bit too late, so therefore they didn't answer. But I did manage to catch Reese in the Telegram afterwards and ask him the question. And basically, I asked him whether or not when we transfer gems to dollars using the MTL, will the Omi get burnt? And basically he come back and he said he's not 100% sure, but he said he's not completely sure, but he's pretty much 100%, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So basically, according to him, he's 100% sure that those Omi will not get burnt. It will just go back into the reserve wallet. So therefore, I was wrong the other day. I assumed that when Dan said that it will go in the same tokenomics, that anything that doesn't get used will essentially go back into the reserve. Now, does that matter? No, it doesn't matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is because, as we know, the reserve does not affect the price. What affects the price is the main circulating supply, obviously, and the reserve is really just there to see when it's time to fill up again. That's it. So therefore, it doesn't really matter how fast that goes. Obviously, if it never burns, then that would be horrible, because we would never get a buyback. But it doesn't really affect it because, the burns are going to be huge anyway from these different things, and we're about to talk about those right now. So let's have a look. So for those who didn't see the AMA, and I'm just going to give my little thoughts on it anyway. The final stages of compliance with payment partners and banking institutions. Once ready, gem to fiat will be on omi.veve.me only. So this is important to remember. It's not going to be in the app, okay? It's only going to be on the website. And as he says, it's going to be the first few users selected who will be invited to test it before it'll open up to a few audience. So if you remember, I don't know how long you guys have been in it. Quite a few of you, I know of my viewers, have been in it since the start, along with me essentially. Well, not the start, but like sort of February, March time. And the marketplace was not really running at a great standard at that point. So what they did was they closed it down for a while, and then they slowly brought users into it in dribs and drabs, so that way they could test out the marketplace and get it all tested. And they're going to do exactly the same with the MTL, because obviously it's quite a big thing. It's a big undertaking for a lot of users to all of a sudden just FOMO in on this MTL and try and get as much money out as they can, or whatever they're planning on doing. I don't know if it's going to drop the price. I'm interested to see. I hope it won't drop the price of collectibles and that kind of thing, but maybe they'll drop for a little bit and then go back up again, because the way I see it, as many people have said in the past as well, in other YouTube channels and on Twitter and whatever, and that is that once it becomes real, once you can say to, because at the moment my wife, whenever I say to her like, oh, look at Pride, which incidentally is pumping at the moment as well, I say, wow, look at Pride, look how much it is now. She just does this. And that's it. I'm looking at like, $3,000 of gems sitting in my wallet when I paid 100 for them a little while back. I paid 100 for Pride in drop day, and I'm looking at $3,000 on my wallet. And instead of going, oh my God, you got $3,000, she just goes, because it is not real to her. It's not real because you can't cash out. So when you can cash out, that's when it becomes real, and that is when people are going to go crazy, because they're going to go, my God, you just made 3,000 in like a couple of months. Oh, how do I get these collectibles then? What do I do? And it's not like crypto where you have to go explaining so many things to people to try and get into it. I have so many people coming to me on a daily basis saying, oh, can you explain that crypto stuff to me? Because they've heard other people talking about Bitcoin or whatever, and they want to get in, but they just can't be bothered with it because it's so much hassle. But Veve is basically going to lower that barrier to entry massively, because all you've got to do is literally open it up, and just like buying something on Amazon, you can just click on it and buy it straight away. So therefore I think it's going to go crazy when the MTL finally happens, which in the final stages, so let's wait for that. But anyway, Immutable X, another one that's going to go crazy. The final stretch will be releasing info on how to use the token swap site, exchanges going between L1 and L2, how-tos, etc. So they're going to do all that sort of stuff. They get all that coming, and then Dan did say something like they're aiming for the end of September, but then he kind of put in, after a couple of little coughs like he does, he put in something like, but don't blame us if it's slightly a few days late or something. We don't really want to give you guaranteed dates and times, because we know how people are, is basically what he said, give or take. So does that mean that it's going to be later? Possibly. Does it matter? To me, no. Maybe to you it does. Maybe it does the price. Maybe it goes down. But I'm in this for the long haul, as you know. Anyway, I'm happy to hold for a long time. So that's me. I'm just holding until it changes my life. That's my plan. And my idea is to try and sell some of my other collectibles when they go to OpenSea for a lot of money, so I can buy some more Omi. That's my plan all the way along. And that's what I'm sticking to. So therefore, yeah, for me, it doesn't really matter, but, it may be the end of September, it may be sort of early October. I hope it's October the 1st, that'd be awesome, because that's my birthday, so therefore, if it's around about that sort of time, that would be a really nice birthday present for me, wouldn't it? But anyway, let's move on, shall we? The app will need to be taken offline for the final stages of immutable migration. Oh, incidentally, that's something they said, for 3 to 4 hours. Now, most people probably won't even notice that, because you probably don't go to it every day. I personally don't use the app every day, but then there's others who use the showrooms every day and that kind of thing. So it is what it is. It would likely be 3 to 4 hours to have communication about what happens. By the end of September, we'll release an article of the Omi Token utility coming to Veve. That's another cool thing that's happening. They're going to be releasing an article telling you exactly what Omi utilities or Omi Token utility will be there. So, which is absolutely brilliant, because a lot of people are always saying there's no utility to the token, and now they were going to release an article telling you exactly. And one of the things is land, which is absolutely absolutely crazy, and we'll get to that in a second because I'm sure it's in this AMA. Will everything is not allowed to be immutable still be minted on Immutable? That's something that somebody asked. So yes, it will all be muted anyway. So be minted anyway. At the moment, from what I can gather, it is NFTs, but they are in a custodial wallet. So they're all on Veve's custodial wallet. So when we move across to Immutable, then they will re-mint all of these things, essentially, and that will give new information to all of the things, like the minting date and everything, I guess. So you'll get a new receipt instead of the old receipt. But this new receipt will be more interoperable between different platforms and that kind of thing. So that's basically the main difference, I guess, for us personally. In terms of, for them, I guess the no fees for minting and all that kind of thing is kind of a big deal as well. And maybe that will come to us later on in, when they're putting out prices of stuff as well. They might even give us, extra privileges because of that for different things. I don't know what's going to happen, but that's just pie in the sky stuff. Anyway, integration with Omi Utility will be selling land that they can purchase with fiat or Omi. Now, this is going to be a huge thing because imagine, most of the people who are going to want to buy land in the VeVeVerse, incidentally, the way they said it is that you're going to get your own showroom. You've got your own showroom anyway, and it's going to be like in a no man's land type idea. And then they're going to be selling plots of land that you can have. Now, I don't know what you can do with those plots of land, but people go crazy for plots of land in, like Decentraland and places like that. So I think the same thing's going to happen with VeVeVerse. But the cool thing about it is that you can you can buy it with your Omi, which is going to be a massive burn of Omi, because they've basically said that anything, well, they more or less roundabout said this, that anything in the VeVeVerse, or I guess in like showrooms and stuff, like your plants and your chairs and all that sort of stuff, anything that's bought with Omi that doesn't have a license attached to it, the Omi will be burnt. So that is going to be a crazy burn. So that's a bit like if you go into, I don't know, Fortnite and you buy a skin, a banana skin to walk around or whatever, whatever people buy. I don't know Fortnite, but imagine when people buy that, if the money that they receive from that was taken and, thrown away, essentially. That's kind of what Omi are doing. They're not actually receiving any money for all this stuff, and they're just throwing it away in order to make the token rise in price, which is absolutely awesome for all holders. And I think we're going to see a massive burn, especially when land comes in. I know, if a piece of land can sell for $7,000 or something, or even more, then that means that obviously there's going to be a huge burn of Omi, and the majority of people who are thinking of buying land are probably Omi holders. So therefore, maybe there'll be some kind of reason to buy it with Omi as well. Who knows? It's all going to come, but that is absolutely fantastic. More functionalities coming for for the AR reader, like tilting the comics using the AR reader. I must admit, I haven't used the AR reader that much. I've used it a couple of times, mainly just to show people, look, you can turn the page on the comic. But I do find it quite cumbersome to use, because you got to sort of look down like that, and you can't really read the comic. So therefore, more functionalities coming from that. So you'll be able to tilt the comic back up, so you'll be able to see what it is, because it's quite hard to actually position it, I found anyway, personally myself. But so that's all coming as well. Can we use the transaction history of other users on collectibles? Limit on how many names can be seen. There's a historical record. We know no ownership of no limits. I don't remember that question. Maybe my earphones fell off at that point. Accessibility. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. We investigate how we can improve. Yes, this was interesting. This was about somebody who they were. I believe they had issues with sight. And basically what happened was they accidentally put their collectibles up for a lot less than what they were supposed to be. So they're asking if we can get some sort of, accessibility options for the app, so that way people who are hard of hearing, or people who have, don't have a very good sight, or that kind of thing. Basically, just in general accessibility options for everybody, and they're going to be coming out with some of those things as well. So that'd be pretty cool. Can we get dark and light modes? We won't worry about that. Showroom version 2 nearly ready. They're going to open up that, and they're also going to have the other space as well. The thing that's nothingness. I like to call it the void. They call it the empty showroom. But anyway, it is what it is. Can you build messaging into the app? Yes, someone was talking about this. Now, officially, there's sort of messaging in the app because you can put anything on the feed, but I guess that's not a message between two people, which would be really cool, actually, because then if you want to swap collectibles and stuff, you know, and think about it now, I never use Facebook anymore at all. I hardly ever use it, but I do use the messaging feature of Facebook. So, you know, maybe if I have people who are on Veve and I know them, then I would use the messaging feature on Veve more than I would on Facebook anymore. You know, Facebook for me is kind of going out the window now, but I use Instagram, Twitter, and I would use Veve for messaging as well. So, but they say, yes, it can be, yes, we understand there are certain cases where messaging in the app can be useful, so we're working on adding a functionality in the future. Perfect. So there you go. So you'll be able to message on Veve as well, which is pretty awesome. When can we use the app offline? Now, that's an interesting question. I don't know why you'd want to do that. I guess if you want to take pictures, that kind of thing. I believe anyway you can do that, but if you wanted to use the whole app offline, you can't really. That's a bit like asking if you can use eBay offline. Well, you can't because you need to be connected to these things, and also it's connected to blockchain, so how would it work offline? But I guess, you know, that was just for me. Oh, there you go. It says, running offline will require a big upgrade. However, we're exploring options for comics. So I guess it depends what you want to do in return to the offline. So if you want to actually just read a comic or you want to look at one of your collectibles, then you can probably do that. But actually connecting to the marketplace, that kind of thing, like I said, it'll be like watching eBay without internet. It just wouldn't be able to do. So this is interesting. Season 2 ends on October the 14th and season 3 starts on October the 15th. So that means that we've got to get Edo before that time, because he's supposed to be coming out in season 2. If you remember, there was a quiz that was done quite a while ago with like all the Omi homies, and one of the questions was which collectible was released in season 2 from season 1, and the answer was Edo. And those questions came from Hello K, and they were vetted by Reese, I believe, as well. So therefore, it's definite that it's going to be releasing. So that means that we can expect to see Edo, whatever his name is, before October the 14th. And that should be a definite, I would have thought. So lots of fans of that will be very happy. Land for everyone in VeVeVerse. Each piece of land will be its own NFT, so it will be limited. So somebody asked, will there be land for everybody? Like, will everybody have a piece of land? Well, then obviously it means the land's not worth anything then, I guess, if everyone can get it. So what they're doing is, as I said, that you've got your own showroom, that's for sure. You don't have to have land if you don't want to, but you can buy land as well, and if you can buy land with your Omi, which is what is the case, then that's when a huge burn is going to happen. I'm so looking forward to that. That's going to be absolutely awesome. Let's have a look. Can we get the comic book signed by the artist? We want a digital signature featured in the future. Artists can sign NFTs at the events. Oh, we know all this anyway. Yep, so basically same thing as what was said in a Taps Trace interview a long time ago with Reese, and that is that they're working on a way that the comic or the collectible, obviously it's different for the comic, but it's the same because essentially you got the receipt of it anyway, and that's it. But the what I mean is, at the time the comics weren't available, so he was asking about collectibles. He said they want to get the person to sign them and then send them back to you. That would be awesome. Well, you can do the same thing with a comic, basically. So we have con exclusive tags. There was the thing about New York Comic Con as well. They're going to be possibly doing something at New York Comic Con. I remember that was just sort of floating around. Let's have a look. Gemgate. Now this is a big thing for people who had Gemgate. Now Gemgate was that thing where basically what happened was lots of people got double the amount of gems in the app at the time, and I guess they just didn't realise. And then what happened was they spent them, and then about 3 months later they come back to you and said, oh, by the way, you spent those gems back then that you didn't realise, so we need a couple of DeLoreans back for them, and stuff like that. So people were like going crazy, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. Well, the good news is that, you know, being the company that they are, they're actually going to compensate the people that it happened to, which is absolutely awesome. I wish I had gone and had the same thing happen to me now, because you're going to get a secret rare for basically gaining extra gems and then having to pay for them, which, to be honest, makes no sense to me whatsoever, because you're getting something really cool for basically having an error where you just had to pay for the things you bought. Really. But anyway, besides the point, it's really good for you anyway if you got yourself one of those. And I guess if you got the email saying that you're going to have to give some stuff back, that means that you've probably given that stuff back already. You've taken your thing out of gems balance or whatever, and now you're going to get a secret rare for the privilege. So hey, that's pretty cool. That's not a bad deal all the way around, is it? So therefore, who knows what that's going to go for. The secret rare when they had the bug where people bought stuff but didn't actually get it, and that's like 600 quid or something now, isn't it? So therefore I think that's pretty cool, and obviously that'll only go up in price. Just looking at this here soon. Where is it? Over 1k listeners on Twitter Space today. Regarding updates on everything else soon. There you go. So yeah, so there you go. So that is all the updates from the AMA. Just quickly run through just in case you didn't get them. And obviously you can go and check this out on Twitter anyway, and you can find out all the details of the AMA and all that kind of cool stuff. So anyway, I digress. It's put me back into big. Because that's it for today. Don't forget, Serial Killers drop is tomorrow. So therefore, if you're around for that and you want to thingy, do let me know what you get. Oh, incidentally, my haul for the last week, because I haven't been doing lives because I've been busy. But I got a common the other day and a common this time as well. So I'm still in the common club for the comics. Most people can only get about one at the moment, but there is a little trick that literally as soon as you see the gems leave, I understand what people were talking about now. I didn't understand what they meant before. I thought I had to check in my balance to check, but literally you've got your balance that comes up that tells you how much you got. As soon as you click on that button on that countdown, it normally starts like 89 or something in my case, so 89 and starts dropping. As soon as you hit that button, as soon as you see those gems leave your wallet, you can then exit out of there and go and buy another one if you want to, just to let you know. But I never do that because I like to see the green truck. I like to see what I've got. Because it normally gives you an issue number at least, and then I can look and go, oh, I've got a nice issue number, and then I'm excited about what's coming. Or I can go, oh, I've got like 14,000 or something, like, oh, I wonder if it's going to be something good. So either way, you know, it's still quite fun, and it's just a way of waiting to see what you're going to get, etc. But as always, don't take this as financial or investment advice in any way, shape or form, because crypto can go up and it can make you loads of money, or it can go down and you can lose everything. But that is, in a nutshell, essentially crypto. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye for now.